Welcome to the Backseat Thriver podcast. I'm Christina Johnston.
And I'm Bridget Kostas.
And we really think you guys should listen because we think we're pretty funny.
We are pretty funny.
Yeah.
We're unfiltered. It's real. It's sometimes what you need to hear.
Sometimes what you don't.
But tune in.
Tune in. That was good.
That works.
Welcome.
Good morning.
To another episode of Backseat Thriver.
And hi, I'm Bridget.
And I'm Christina.
And welcome to Backseat Thriver.
You know, how lucky for our audience today. We've had so many guests lately that today it's just you and I. I'm sure everyone's missed it.
Finally.
You've
missed us, right?
We can just
Christina
yap.
and I?
Yeah, I have. I have.
Okay, so I'm looking at us this morning and we walk into the studio with our hair slicked and our lipstick on, and I'm feeling like a Robert Palmer background dancer. Might as well face it, you're addicted to love.
One more time.
Might as well face it, you're addicted to love.
Bridget, that is the perfect segue because that's what we're talking about today.
It is! Look at me.
Look at you. It's like you
So
had
good.
any advance notice about this.
It's like I may have.
It's like you may have. So we're talking about behavioral addictions, and this has been so fun because this is much, perhaps, this might be wrong what I'm about to say, but just stick with me for a minute. I think that behavioral addictions are much more accepted than substance abuse addictions, right? We have the non-substance addictions and substance addictions. So it's not like I want to walk around saying like, oh yeah, I'm addicted to alcohol or drugs, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely addicted to food and shopping, or like it doesn't quite have the stigma. I mean, some of them do. You know, we'll get into some of the dirtier ones, but
Well, if you're a gambler, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to judge you.
yeah, but I mean, I might be balling, so you might not judge me because what if I'm a winning gambler?
If I benefit from it,
Oh, well, what if I benefit from it? Can't you just be happy for me?
no.
Oh.
No, because it's an addiction, Christina.
Oh.
I'm not an enabler. Hello.
Well, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
I'm not an enabler.
You're not.
Now, I may feed your food habits. What are they? Feed the food habits.
Speaking of being fed, can we talk about how we walked into breakfast this morning and Tina had our table ready for us? How cool was that? Thank you, Tina. We are level status 4 out of 5.
I walked in and was like, oh, hi, everybody. Hi.
Oh, no big deal. That's our table. Yeah.
Thanks, Tina.
Yeah.
Oh, and they have a new menu.
I know. I saw that. There was some brisket on there.
There was some brisket.
Some tofu. We're going to have to try these all out.
I know. We're doing some free plugs here. We might have to talk to you, Bisbee.
Yeah. Give us some money,
might need
would
to
you?
get some sponsorship out of this.
Oh, you're right. We'll review the new menu in a sexy voice and see if people come because of it to the restaurant.
Granola in a cup.
Grilled tofu. How was that? Was that pretty good? I see your eye twitching a little. I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
It's because you touched me real deep.
I got you in the right spot,
you got
baby.
me in the right spot. It's like when your dog's like just shaking their leg. You got
Right
that
behind the
right
ear.
spot. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. We crushed it.
Oh, that's funny. No, but I agree. I think like as you're sharing, I don't think that people are as aware of their behavioral addictions, and they pawn it off as, well, I don't know if it's really an
It's just
addiction.
part of my personality. It's what I
don't know.
like.
Maybe it's my anxiety. Maybe it's my OCD.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. And you're like, no.
Nah,
What-
brah,
because-
that's your mental condition.
because what did you say? If it impacts.
So if we're going to define a behavioral addiction, it's any persistent and repeated behavior that impacts your mental, physical, or financial state. So a lot of these things, we might be really peeling some layers back today because there might be some things that seem like an innocent habit, as you probably call it, because you're enabling yourself versus an addiction.
Yeah.
So we might be really shedding some light for some people today. We're going to talk about what these behavioral addictions are, what they mean, and how do you help yourself.
And this is going to be a great podcast about self-reflection.
It is. I don't really want to reflect. I want to judge. Oh wait, no, we said we weren't judging. I'll judge you and I'll judge myself.
You even told our audience, like, no judging. Like,
no
you even
judgment.
threw that out there. Like,
except of course we are, because I'm going to be judging myself and I'm definitely going to judge you.
They're mean.
Well, like in a loving way, but I'm going to judge you.
Fine.
Well, don't you think? Are you really not going to judge me?
I'm already judging
you. Are you that good of a friend that you're just like, I won't judge you?
No,
I don't buy it.
Then when you turn around and leave, I'm going to judge you.
That's even worse. Just judge me right here. Judge me out loud.
Whatever.
Okay. Do you know what I did this week? I swam laps.
Around Target? What do you mean?
I could see why you would say that, but no. We'll talk about the shopping addiction later. My husband made me get up at 4:30 with him and swim laps the other day. We swam for almost an hour. I've never swam laps before.
In your own pool? Or
No.
Somewhere?
We went to a pool where they have all the laps and all
the lanes.
The lanes, yes.
Oh, okay.
And everyone wears a swim cap and like a Speedo and tight bathing suits. And I just put on my regular suit. I did not have a cap. And I was like, all right, let's do this. And I was not like, all right, let's do this. I was whining the whole way. Like, this is so early. It's gross. It was really freaking hard. Have you ever swam laps?
Yes.
I was so out of breath.
It is a full body workout. Swimming is unreal.
Oh my gosh. I just kept watching my husband. I'm like, he's still going. And I'm like,
yeah, but
I was pretending to shake water out of my goggles. Like, oh yeah, they're full. Catch your breath.
Hold on just a second.
I have a wedgie. I got to do something. I must stop.
I've got to get out. I got to pee again. I can't pee in the pool.
Right, of course. Bad. That would be gross.
That's just not etiquette. But no, so over the summer when my pool is to that perfect 90-degree temperature that I love, I bought one of those. It's a belt that you can put on. Stay with me here.
Nerd alert.
Shut up. It's a harness that you put on, like a belt, and then it's almost like a bungee cord that attaches to one of the links in your pool so that you can swim laps in place without having to go. It's kind of like a pool treadmill option.
Wait a second. That might be a really good birthday present.
For you?
No.
For your husband.
For the hubs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Birthday, Father's Day, whatever comes first.
Okay.
That way, if he wants to get up and swim in the
pool,
pool.
I hope he's not listening.
Does he listen to our podcast?
After the fact, yeah.
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 He always makes sure you're not talking a bunch of smack.
Oh, yeah. And then he'll call me out. So I got one for him. So today we're talking about these behavioral addictions. And I told him this morning, I said, I think that you have an addiction to telling the truth. And he's sort of looking at me like, well, how is that an addiction? I'm like, because I asked you the other day, have you noticed that I've gained a couple of pounds? And he goes, yeah. And I looked at him and I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting you to answer A, so quickly, and B, so honestly. I was just like,
lie to me.
I was like, babe, you can, it's okay. You can just say yes. And he goes, why? I'm not going to lie to you. He goes, ask me if I think you look fat and I'll tell you no. But have you gained a few pounds? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? This conversation is over. This did not go the way I expected.
Never mind. I don't want to know your addictions anymore. Yeah. Keep them to yourself.
Yeah. And then I was like, you know how the common saying, when the wife says, does these jeans make my ass look big? And he's like, that's not possible for you because I have the flattest butt in the world.
You do not have a butt. I asked my husband, I was like, babe, all right, so we're doing a podcast this week on addiction. What are your addictions? He's like, you.
Oh gosh.
My son heard him from the other room. He's like, that's disgusting.
Get out. Get a room.
He's like, you're my addiction. I was like, get it.
Yeah, it's because he didn't want to say the other thing.
What's the other thing?
He knows what it is. Don't worry. I won't call him out.
So then I do the same to my son. So we're driving home from one of his volleyball games. And I was like, hey, we're doing a podcast on addiction. Do you have any addictions that, that you're aware of, that you can think of that, as an 18-year-old kid, you hope they don't have a ton of addictions. But I'm like, so what are your addictions? He's like, what do you mean? Like what? I was like a behavioral addiction. Like, do you bite your nails? Do you, screen time? You're a teenager. Yeah. Are you on your phone all the time? He's like, no, I don't think it's an addiction. I can put my phone away. And he's like, it's why I don't respond to you for hours on end, Mom. I was like, true,
oh, sure. He's using that as the excuse.
And I was like, come on. No, really. Tell me, do you have an addiction? He's like, let me think about it. Oh, yeah, actually I do. It's crack. And I was like, dude, don't even, just stop. That's not even funny. He was like, I know. But really, I think it's just crack. Like, this boy.
That child.
He's got my wit.
Yeah.
He's had it since he was like 3 years old. This kid is quick and he's fast and he takes you off guard and it's so good.
Well, I mean, he came from you, so that does not surprise me at all.
But hopefully he wasn't telling me the truth.
Well, okay. So since you've given us multiple perfect segues into this and we've taken advantage of none of them, let's go ahead and take advantage of this one because your son was asking, like what? Let's talk about, so what we're talking about today are non-substance addictions. So definitely less talked about, but certainly becoming a crisis in our society. And, maybe saying a crisis is a bit dramatic. I don't want to be an alarmist here. So let's just say that it's a growing problem in our society. So when we're talking about non-substance addictions, also known as behavioral addictions, we're talking about gambling. We're talking about food, mobile devices, social media, shopping, a work addiction, a love addiction, video games,
sugar,
exercise, tattoos, porn. I mean, there's so many things.
You ended with porn. Do you have a porn addiction?
Bridget,
caught you off guard on that one, didn't I?
That's being really insensitive to our listeners that might. So I think that you just probably made them feel alienated by making a joke out of it.
I wasn't trying to make them feel alienated. I was trying to make them feel like,
well, you made me feel alienated.
You have a porn addiction with them.
Well, you're laughing at me. You can
relate. I told you I was going to judge you, Christine.
You said you were going to walk away first, okay? I don't appreciate. I said I wanted it face to face. I don't want it anymore, okay? Walk away. Get. Oh boy. Okay, so we're gonna go through a lot of these.
Regroup, will you?
Okay. And we're back. So we're going to go through a lot of these. There's a lot of interesting. Also, I say the word interesting. I got to come up with there. I was reading an article that says stop using the word interesting, and here's 50 other words you can use. I'm glad
you read an article about it because I've been meaning to talk to you about it.
Well,
but I've been saying it behind your back.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, well, at least I'm self-reflecting on.
I find this fascinating.
Fascinating, but I find it noteworthy. Some of these things, like it doesn't directly pertain to me, but it makes me feel more educated. How about that? I'm just smarter than you because of this, because I know all of these non-substance behaviors, and some of them are risky.
You got that from chat. Don't lie. Don't lie around
Who's
here.
Chat? He sounds cute.
He's very cute.
Yeah. All right. So as we're going, I want to start with a couple of high level facts about some of these behavioral addictions. So when we're talking about video games, there's so many adult gamers, right? I feel like you and I are constantly talking about kids and social media and games and screens and all of that, but it's a lot of adults too.
I feel that if you are an adult gamer, you should be getting paid for it, and you should have a YouTube channel like some of these other people, like make a profession out of it.
Well, what if it's not? What's your judgment on that?
If you have if you are able to be self-sufficient and live on your own and pay your own bills and enjoy your video games.
Hot take. Okay.
Yeah. If you're an adult, you're old enough. You are old enough to make your own decisions.
Well, that's true.
And as long as they are not impacting others. Now, if you're an adult gamer, you work a 9 to 5, you have a family, and you have like kids at home, and as soon as you get off work and you get home and you start gaming versus engaging with your family, assisting with the after hours parenting chores, things along those lines, then yeah, you've got an issue.
You're kind of just a loser if you're doing that.
I agree.
I mean, I hate to use that word. I think that word is really mean. But anyways, so the definition of a video game addiction is greater than 10 hours of play per week.
10 hours of play. I bet there are gamers that play at least 10 hours a day.
In one day.
In one day.
Oh, hands down on the weekends or staying up until 3:00 in the morning. That one's crazy to me. I don't get that. But their video game addiction is very real.
Addiction is very real. And
addiction is real? Thank you, Bridget.
Shut up, Christina. And when we were looking at like stats, 1 in 3 Americans struggle with some form of addiction.
I believe it.
So whether that's substance or behavioral, 1 in 3.
That's a lot. So there's 2 of us sitting here. So the odds are it's you, me, or Shay. Shay, what's your addiction? Have you been thinking about this?
She's like,
she's
sorry,
like, please don't talk to me. I'm on mute.
I'm on mute.
We'll leave it alone. Okay, so there is something here. Okay, so video games greater than 10 hours a week.
Okay.
Social media. So they have not come up with a definitive amount of hours to qualify as an addiction. However, more than 3 hours a day is considered heavy use. And that means that's just your gateway into addiction. We all know that.
Social media.
3 hours a day. How much time are you spending on your phone per day?
Okay, let's screen time check.
Oh gosh. Do you think that you can parse out from your screen time what you're actually using for work and what you're wait a second,
because you can see usage.
Social.
You can do usage. So those of you who have an Apple device right now, go into your settings and search in the search functionality, go to screen time, and it will give you your daily average of screen time. And then it's going to say what all your app and website activity are.
Oh no, I'm spending way too much time on Instagram.
Are you?
Yeah, way too much.
Mine's Outlook and my multi-factor authenticator, and then messages and maps. That means I'm driving
that
too
means
much.
You don't know where you are.
That means I'm multitasking. I'm looking through my emails while I'm on a work meeting on my phone, and it's constantly authenticating.
My messages, 3 hours and 54 minutes. That's insane. Spent texting. I feel like way too much of that was you.
Is it I get more spam text than I do that I actually text.
You're getting that many?
I get that much spam that comes through my text. It's
like
unreal.
Send news?
The category is social.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you need to get it together.
Yeah, it's crazy. 8 hours.
Okay,
yeah, that's gross.
That feels tricky. Okay, so we've got the 3 hours a day for heavy use, and then everything else. When you're if you're trying to gauge whether you have some sort of addiction to any of these things, what they're going to typically refer you back to is it impacting your mental, physical, or financial well-being, and that's a pretty good gauge. So let's talk about some of these. Shopping addiction. That is so real. So I can relate definitely in the past where at different times in my life when I've been low, shopping, I love it. Like that when I know that I have time to do it and I have the energy and all of that, I totally get a high from that. Like when I walk into that store and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got money to spend and time to burn. Let's go. There is a high.
Shopping makes me anxious. I can't stand shopping.
What is that about?
I don't know. I never really enjoyed it. And part of it I think like clothing shopping, I have a really hard time going clothes shopping because I can't stand trying on clothes.
What?
It's my OCD of germs.
Get out. It's that bad.
Well, I take the clothes home, I try them on at home, and then if I don't like them, then I take them back. Like I would rather take them back than try them on in the store. So I'll go home, I'll try on all the clothes, and then I get in the shower. because I'm afraid I'm going to get a rash. I'm going to get some bed bugs. I'm going to get some lice. Something's going to happen. Have you seen these clothes? They're disgusting.
So you definitely always wash your clothes before when you get them home from sometimes I don't do that.
You don't wash your clothes before
Sometimes I don't.
Okay, so one, that's gross. But two, now I get why your skin is the way it is.
Thank you.
Because you don't wash your clothes your body. Man, you guys didn't see that. She just flipped me off.
I did not.
You just gave me the flying bird.
All right, so shopping is not something you have to talk about. Let's also clarify.
I was going to finish with.
I'm so sorry.
Come on,
please.
Christina.
I'm
you
so
just
sorry.
Cut me off.
Go ahead,
so
please.
Rude.
I'm so sorry.
That's one of your addictions. Being in control. We need to talk about that one.
Oh my gosh, we should put that on the list. That is an addiction.
Yeah, I think it is. I really think it is. But when I'm talking about, like, I have to have clean clothes, and before I wear them, I won't do laundry unless I have fabric softener. Like, I think that is also my addiction. Like, I have to have fabric softener in my laundry.
But you know that the detergent cleans your clothes, right?
Yes, it's like shampoo and conditioner, though. Like, I can't take a shower without conditioner.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I have to have fabric softener. Otherwise, my clothes just aren't soft and they don't smell good. They just, it's that, excuse me.
Yeah, you're choking because I can sniff your detergent from here. Maybe ease up.
But it is. I think I'm gonna put fabric softener as one of my addictions. I have to have fabric softener.
Okay. Anybody listening, I just, I'd love to get a thumbs up or thumbs down. Is fabric softener a legit addiction, Bridget? We're talking about people who have porn addictions and shopping.
Just because I can't relate to you, Christina.
Addictions. Oh, okay.
I have a coffee addiction. I'm addicted to coffee.
No, it's the habit. You'd be fine without coffee.
I would be fine without coffee like after a week, but I would have that 3 p.m. headache every single day until that caffeine is out of my body.
That is a mental and physical
it's
and
an addiction.
Perhaps a financial impact.
It is a financial impact.
Yeah.
It was much more of a financial impact until I got my Breville. But now, now I only drink coffee at home because it's delicious.
How about that?
And at Bisbee. Not as delicious, though.
You know what? Until we talk to management about a sponsorship, stop saying their name.
This is true.
We can only speak of Tina. We love you, Tina. Okay, let's talk about a few more. Exercise. So that is a very, not one I can relate to.
Definitely not addicted.
But that is absolutely an addiction. So the World Health Organization recommends 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate exercise per week. That's not that much. But like when you think about these people who work out multiple times a day or exercise for like a 3-hour session, which I find just absolutely insane.
But is it a true 3 hours, or are they just kind of like walking around?
No, I'm talking about like cyclists or runners or
your husband.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's a
triathlete. Like I get, like if you're an athlete, if you're training for something, things like that, like, okay, a 3-hour workout. If you're just doing that, it is an addiction.
You heard it here first.
You're addicted to looking good and you're crazy.
That's right. Definitely can't relate to that. Now, you had some interesting insight on this one. Tattoo addiction.
Oh, yeah. I totally get that.
Okay, tell me more.
So I have 3 tattoos, and I would have way more if I liked the pain. I cannot handle the pain that comes with that. And I don't care who you are. I mean, some people say like, oh my God, tattoo doesn't even hurt. I don't even feel it. It doesn't even bother me. I could sit there for hours. I'm like, dear God, I had 3 little baby icons put on my ring finger, and I thought I was going to die. I was like, oh my God.
When did you become such a wimp? You're tougher than that.
Self-inflicted pain, I'm totally fine with. You hurt me? Nope. You flick
You
me.
hurt me?
You flick me, you pinch my butt, you something like that. Like, oh my God, that hurts so bad.
Really?
But I can run into the side of a table and gash my leg and I don't feel it. I can fall down the stairs on my own. Doesn't bother me.
So
I'm
this
sore.
is a mental thing for you. This
100%.
is totally mental. You're a little freak up there.
100. Duh.
Okay.
There's a lot
I wonder
going
if that
on
plays
here.
into the OCD. I mean, I don't know how, but I mean,
The freak up there?
well, if you know it's coming versus if it blindsides you. When you hit that
Maybe.
corner of the table and it's like, whatever. But when you know, it's like anxiety
But if the
building
table
up.
hit me,
Well, yeah, that'd be a problem. You'd
story.
smash it. What about when you get a shot?
No, it doesn't bother me.
Oh, okay.
No.
Interesting.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that hurts.
No, it's a shot. It's one little baby
It's a needle. It's the same thing as your baby tattoo.
1,000 times over. Like I can handle one. I know it's just going to be one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you get the tattoo addiction.
But yeah, once it is. And I don't know if it's so much like the pride that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have the addiction to the pain and the will to sit through like enduring that type of like pain on your body. Like that doesn't increase my dopamines at all. What I get a thrill out of with the tattoos is the meaning behind it and the pride and just the artwork that I am drawn to, and I want more of that. Like I want another one. I want to express myself.
Yeah. Well, so what you just said, I think you nailed it right here. What another perfect segue, Bridget.
You're welcome.
You're just so good at it. So the
Segue
person's
queen.
neurobiology has everything to do with this. So that is the brain's reward system, this dopamine dump. So everything that you're doing with these addictions is to get that high, is to get that dopamine release. And that is the critical part of these behavioral addictions, because think about pick any of these, right? A food addiction, which I am obsessed with food. I get so excited when I know it's coming. I love it while I'm eating it, and I'm sad when it's over. And I always want more. Like I'm never satisfied with food unless I stuff myself. And I definitely think that for me, it is such that dopamine high of the most delicious meal or even a really good bowl of cereal, whatever it is. Like the act of eating, I get so excited by.
Always?
Probably not always, but
You always have been that way?
I always think about food. So here's what's interesting. Growing up, I'm one of 5 kids. We're all very close in age. We always were fed. We always had food and everything. I just remember always wanting more. And my sisters and I talk about this. I don't think my brother did not get this gene or this trauma. I hate calling something like this trauma. It's not trauma. However, these compulsive engagements in these activities are coping with underlying trauma. That really is the root of a lot of these behavioral addictions, is you're trying to work out something or heal something from the past. And this can be influenced by factors like mental health conditions, and certainly past trauma. Like this is really kind of what
the
feeds
psychological component of
Absolutely.
the addiction.
So, there's very real root causes of this. Now, when I'm talking about food and I'm saying my root cause is when I would get my chicken pot pie at the table and all 5 of us were eating and I was done and I'm like looking around, which one of my sisters didn't finish theirs? Well, they all finished them. And I was like, yeah, but what now? Like, what do I get next?
I want more.
Yeah. So it's very hard for me. Like I was cooking rice the other day and one of the girls was like, do you really need to cook that much? There's only 4 of us. And I was like, oh, absolutely.
How much rice did you cook?
Probably 2 cups of rice for 4 people, which is enough to feed
4
8
cups
people.
of rice.
Yeah. I mean, probably even 10 people. It's crazy. But I have to know that I have plenty of food left over, that in case I want to have seconds, there's enough for me. Like I don't have this weird, I get a little panicky. I get a little anxious if there's not enough food.
So you always cook to have leftovers or cook to have seconds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to know that if I want the option of more, I will have it. And that gives me truly, it gives me some peace.
That makes sense because if you always wanted more as a kid and you didn't get it, you are compensating for, for not having that.
Absolutely.
I think we're all probably guilty of that in some way or another. It's giving, it's like we say with parents that give too much, parents that give too much for their kids, or that overcompensate for what they didn't have when they were growing up. I think that is, we could probably do a whole show on that, but I think it's interesting, and with food, it is so psychological. When you think of as kids, we were always told, finish your plate and then you can have dessert.
Mm-hmm.
So now as adults, we overserve ourselves, we finish our plate, and then we get our reward. Like, it's the reward system.
Good job, Bridget.
Good job. I get my ice cream.
Uh-huh.
But, when we think of, especially like the United States, we're an obese community. We are an obese nation.
Sure are.
And we overeat. And our eyes are bigger than our stomach. And I think a lot of that is psychological. A lot of that is behavioral. And, it was something that we, my husband and I, that we did with our kids. We're like, all right, hold on. We're stuffing you. Like, you were overeating. Your body will tell you when you're done. Just listen to your body. Now, with most kids, they're going to run straight to dessert. I want dessert. But if you kind of set those healthy habits, which all of these behavioral addictions, all of these addictions that we talk about, healthy habits is kind of where you start, right? Where you start changing that behavior throughout all of this. But like, we started doing that with our kids, like, just listen to your body. If you're not hungry, you don't have to finish it. You can have a little bit of dessert. Just put saran wrap or put cling wrap over your plate and come back to it later, because I know you're going to be hungry.
Do your kids get dessert every night?
So they have the option, and because they have the option, they don't take it. Like, we have a candy drawer, like, literally, Christina, we have a candy drawer that's had candy from last Easter. Like, because we have it readily available, they're not like,
it's not like
they're not
panic
crazy
to get
over
it. Yeah.
They're not panicked. They have learned to self-regulate.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, I'm going to have a Starburst versus an entire bowl of Starburst. I'm going to have one
right.
to, cleanse the palate,
Yep.
so to say.
Yep.
But they don't, we gave them the option, but not everybody took it. It was like, no, I'm good.
My son wants dessert every single night. He finishes dinner and goes straight to the freezer. And I have to be like, wait a second. I'm not sure that this is a rule that you get to eat dessert every night. I texted my mom and I was like, did we get to eat dessert was that a every night thing? And she wrote back in caps, like, never.
Yeah.
It was special occasions. So that's, but I don't remember feeling like it just wasn't a normal part of the day. So it wasn't like, oh, we don't get dessert.
Yeah.
Like, where my kid, I'm like, no, it's too late. We just got home from baseball, whatever. You're not going to eat ice cream right before you go to bed. And he is like, it to him now, he's like, well, what do you mean I don't get dessert? I just finished my dinner. Don't I get dessert? And I'm just sort of like, is this normal?
Well, let me share a little statistic punch here with you.
Please do.
About 15% of kids show early addictive tendencies. Video games, sugar, screen dependencies. Oh, hey, by the way, guess who's buying that stuff? What? Who bought them that iPad? Who bought them that video game? Who puts the ice cream in the freezer?
So
right?
what, so I guess what's the beautiful balance there is it's, I guess that's what you have to figure out, what works for your family.
You got to teach moderation at an early age.
Yeah, but somebody who has addictive personality, moderation ain't in the vocab.
Dude,
that's why it's called an addiction, Bridget. Hello. There is no moderation. If people knew how to moderate their behavior, there wouldn't be behavioral addictions.
So, Christina, other than porn, what are your addictions?
I hate you. I have definitely felt at points of a screen addiction where I am spending way too much time on social media, but I also love being off of my phone. Like when my husband and I went on vacation last month, we did not touch I wasn't taking photos. I wanted no contact with the outside world. It was like, are the kids fine? Yes, great. Everyone's good. Phone away. So I don't know. I think a lot of it goes in waves. And certainly, having this crazy successful podcast hasn't helped my screen time because I'm constantly looking for
your numbers, the metrics. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Like how are we doing? But speaking of social media, and again, this is something we're constantly talking about. It's so funny how today arguments and tension in relationships swirls around social media. Well, Bridget, you didn't like my post. I posted 2 days ago and you didn't like it. So why are we in a fight now? Or you're not getting that instant validation.
How come you didn't invite me to golf and stuff with you?
Exactly. I saw that you were there.
You tagged somebody else.
Yeah. I thought we were friends.
Why didn't you invite me?
But you know what I mean? Like
totally.
You post a picture of yourself and I only got 7 likes on this. And that's what you're basing your self-esteem on, and your self-worth is that I'm clearly not worth it because this outside validation, I'm not getting it.
Do you ever, there was a show called Black Mirror. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Okay.
Was this like from the 70s?
You're an asshole. No, this is from today.
We wouldn't be backseat thrivers if I didn't give a dig here and there.
So it's a show, and I don't know what platform it's on. I want to say probably some of them are on Netflix now, but one of the episodes, and it's all about technology. Like everything that they do is where it starts off like this is a positive side of this new technology. And by the end of the episode, it's technology gone wrong. And one of the scenes was your social status was based on your likes. Oh. So based on your life, whether or not you could get a house was how many likes, how many comments did you get within your social status. And it just kind of, it comes back to, wow, like how we're so addicted to the everybody else's thoughts about us. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? Do I feel validated? Mm-hmm. It's pretty fascinating. Like you could jump into Black Mirror at any point in time. Each episode is different. They don't roll into the next. Like each one is something different actors. But it's dark. Like I could only watch a couple of them. Like, oh my God, this is freaking me out. No, we're never going to get an Alexa. No, we're never going to get one of those Google voices. None of that stuff. Like they're listening to you
constantly.
As is my phone, but that's different.
Right? You going to get rid of that?
No, but my Siri doesn't talk to me. She's mean. Oh, like I'll hey Siri her, and she ignores me.
Well, you have to push the button, right?
No, you don't. Oh. You can. See, I don't even want to talk to you about technology. Let's not even go there.
I know. Director of digital.
Used to be.
Well,
I'm not anymore.
Well, but but it's like digital solutions.
No.
What is it?
You don't even know. Whatever.
This is so embarrassing.
I know.
We'll talk about this later.
Learn how to engage with your audience, will you?
You're not my audience, B. Oh my gosh, I can call you B for Bridget, but that's not what I'm thinking in my head. Okay, Bridget.
I can call you C too. That's not what I'm thinking in my head.
Oh, touche. That was so good.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. That was so good. Okay, so I can't even talk about the solutions right now because they're too serious with what just happened. That was brilliant. That might have been one of your best ones. Bridget, I'm really proud of you.
Thanks for teeing me up on that one, buddy.
You got it. I got you. All right. So with a lot of these behavioral addictions, some of them, I mean, maybe you can self-regulate, but a lot of these, you need to get some help. Like I know that there's every casino and gambling billboard is like, help exists, call the 800 number. And I think that kind of stuff is really important because that self-reflection, if you are starting to think about it, like, man, do I have a problem? Is this impacting my mental, physical, and financial well-being? I think that's a really brave and very self-aware thing to do.
It's a vulnerable place to be in.
It is,
Yeah.
and it sounds ridiculous to have a shopping addiction. But again, when you're going back to these root causes, you've got some unresolved trauma and stuff that needs to be processed. And so getting help is actually a really important piece of this, because you don't have to white knuckle through on a lot of these things. Like a pathological love addiction, that is real. When you look at these, like, why is what's her face? Jennifer Lopez popping in my head. Like, how many times has that woman been married? And she talked about in an interview one time how she is addicted to love. Like, she needs that feeling. She wants that feeling. And I think that's, I don't know that most of us have been married 8 times, but I think that's just a really kind of honest way to look at it, is that I need this feeling. And if that feeling is that dopamine dump, whether you're betting $5,000 on a blackjack table, or you can't stop exercising for that addictive fear in your head of, I'm not good enough, I'm too fat, I'm too, all of the, insert every adjective that you want. There's something real behind that, and addressing that can be a little bit scary and a little bit uncomfortable. But if you reach out to a good therapist and start talking through it, so much good can come of that. Now, I'll tell you, I'm reading this book right now called Letting Go, and it is such a great book. I feel like in the first 30 pages, I have learned so much. And we often get in these situations and they're so overwhelming. And I'm going to just use the example of quitting my job, because in the last year, that was probably one of my, biggest moments, biggest fear, greatest insecurity, greatest all of the things, right? I quit my job, and then my ego was really taking a hit, because all of a sudden I felt like I was no longer important. I was in this position where I was in charge of everything, and now I'm in charge of laundry. So it was a very weird feeling. So what this book is helping you do is just really identify what your feelings are saying. Like, what are those underlying feelings? And so, okay, Christina, you're going to quit your job. Let's take this one bite at a time. Can you handle letting go of your office? That's it. That's the only thing you're going to think about. Can you handle letting go of your office? Yeah, I could do that. Can you handle letting go of your computer? All right. Can you handle letting go of your administrative assistant? Okay. Can you handle letting go of the pictures on your wall? Yeah, sure. Can you handle letting go of people? Okay. So as you're breaking all of this stuff down, it becomes not this huge, overwhelming fear. And when you break down each of your fears, well, I'm afraid of leaving my office because that's my controlled space, right? I'm afraid of leaving my computer because that's my control. Control. You can start seeing the theme there, right? You're losing control of all the stuff. But when you break it down, it doesn't feel so daunting. And so with a lot of these addictions, can you handle setting your phone down for 5 minutes a day? Oh, I could handle that. Can you handle not looking at Instagram for 1 day? Yeah, I could handle that. When you start breaking it all apart and you start looking at the underlying root cause, you really get to know yourself, and you really get to help prioritize, is this such a big deal in my daily life? Is this something that I could let go of? So, huge advocate of that book for anybody. I think it's just really good for anybody to read. You don't even necessarily have to have a behavioral addiction or a midlife crisis. It's really just kind of helping you understand who you are as a person and what are your priorities.
I think what you said about control, that's a big one. And I think that is an addiction for a lot of type A personalities, is that control. And it can be, control of your home environment, your house, your job, the car. You can't let anybody else drive. You're the only one that can drive. You have to have control. And I think, like, where does that stem from? Mm-hmm. Where does that need to control things stem from? But I'm glad you mentioned that, because having 4 kids and a dog, you have zero control over your house. Like, your house is chaos. You can try and keep control and semblance and things orderly, and then they get messed up. And that's where, like, when we were talking about this podcast, like, I kept going to, all right, is this OCD or is this addiction? Is this OCD or is this addiction? Like, some of the things, like my cleanliness, like having to have things clean, whether it's my house, whether it's my clothes, whether it's my hands, whatever that is. Like,
Bridget wipes her dog's butt every time she poops.
because I don't want dingleberries on my bed.
Look, I think it's incredible. I salute you for that.
My dog
I just
is
can't
trained
imagine
to come
doing
to
it.
me after she goes poop, so I can wipe her booty with a little wet wipe like you do your kids.
I mean, it's
Because if you have ever had a dog boot scoot across your white carpet, that is the grossest thing in the world. And if your dog is jumping on your bed and jumps off and has a little dingleberry on your bed sheet, that is the grossest thing in the world.
Look, I couldn't agree with you more. I thought
won't
about
let
it.
that control go.
And that's good. But I'm sitting there and I was like, I would love to be that. And then I was like, but I'm just not. So I fully think it's incredible. Now, do you feel like, because we were having this argument, and I think a lot of people have OCD tendencies, not quite on your level, but do you think that, I mean, that OCD is really driven by anxiety versus this repetitive, repetitive behavior is really the definition of OCD, but the behavioral
like,
addiction.
I don't walk around and flip on a light switch 800 times before I leave the room.
Right. But it's like this compulsive engagement in an activity, and it's really fueled by some type of trauma or insecurity. I think it's
Or want.
OCD. Yeah. Mm-hmm. OCD and a behavioral addiction are not the same, but I definitely see similarities in it.
But I think people with OCDs have a higher tendency for addiction to help calm the behavior.
Mm-hmm. To control it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I am so self-aware of my tendencies because I come, my father was an addict, and knowing that is in my bloodstream, like, that is genetic. Addiction in families is genetic. Mm-hmm. And I am so ultra aware of that I know that this is in my bloodstream. So if I activate it, I don't know if I can turn back. So
you'll be flipping that switch 100 times.
I do not engage.
Well, so maybe we really should worry about your son's crack addiction.
Well, I didn't do crack, so technically he's not an addict.
Well, he's got some of your blood, Well, does that? Your son, his family history would be that of addicts,
and both of my boys, I have shared that with them. Like, hey, there's addiction in our blood. Do not go down that path. As teenagers, I shared this with them when they were 10 years old. When there was that huge scare of all the stickers that were being handed around at school, and they were laced with acid. Like, kids were handing out stickers.
Did I miss this memo?
You were the one handing out the stickers. Here, little kid, here's your sheet of stickers.
Lick this.
But they were handing out stickers, and they had, the dots. Do you remember when we were
the
kids?
candy?
The candy dots, like, they were lacing those.
What?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. I don't know where they were getting them from, but there was this was like 10, 12 years ago, Christina. You didn't even have kids then. But it was, going around the school that they were handing out like all these candies that were drugs. And I was like, you guys can't do that, And then as they got older, I would tell them, like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm allergic to it. I've tried it once and I had a really bad allergic reaction. So I can't do it, man. So that was like how they would share it. Like, if one of their friends in high school would be like, hey, do you want to try this? No, I tried it once. I ended up in the hospital. I'm allergic to that stuff. Addiction runs in my family. I had no idea, and I tried it. And it worked.
That's good.
It worked.
That's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, they learned their little tricks and tips to get around it and to get around the peer pressure. And I mean, we started those conversations really early with our kids and just being aware and having those conversations. And I think that as you know that you have, addictions, you have behavioral addictions, you have substance abuse addictions. And if you are in, if you are in sobriety or if you're working to get to that phase in your life, having that role model and expressing those types of actions in your home, in your environment, that's going to impact your kids. And, how do you cope with stress? Okay, my kids are going to say, oh my gosh, my mom coped with stress by leaving to Target, or my mom coped with stress by cleaning incessantly until her eyes started twitching. This is how they coped with stress. So they end up with those similar behaviors, or 180 and, don't clean anything ever. So what does that look like? So how do we model these good behaviors for our kids and for ourselves?
I do think it's really important, the conversations about that. And obviously I can't speak for anyone but myself on this one, but now I'm curious because you're saying you're having those conversations with your boys at 10. I know my 2 stepdaughters have been having those conversations with their dad since they were little because they have addiction heavy in their blood. And I know for a fact they are so steadfast in the fact that they are not interested. They're like, we've seen what it's done. We're not doing that. And so I think for a teenager in this real, 16, 17 years old, that's a really high period of peer pressure. And I'm sure that you can think back to some situations. I know that I can, where somebody offers you something and it's like, oh, everyone's doing, that peer pressure absolutely works with a lot of people. And I think if you don't start having those conversations, these kids, they're not even aware, and then they're addicted to something so quickly. But here's what I do wonder, and I'll do some research about this afterwards because I should have done it before. But now I'm sitting here wondering, well, what about the kids who do know it runs heavy in their blood and they go towards it? I wonder.
I think that's role modeling.
Yeah.
They do know how are you modeling that behavior? Are you still doing it? All right. Well,
you're showing
you have it.
Okay.
You have it. You're showing that it's okay and you're functioning. Well, I guess I'm going to do it too. Versus I want nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Like what is that impact of that relationship?
Yeah.
What is that psychological impact?
Gosh, between substance addictions and non-substance addictions, how does anyone have any fun? I mean, you have to monitor pretty much everything that you do. Keep yourself in check. Everything in moderation.
Moderation.
Apparently.
Yeah, it is. And I just, what would you, going back when you think of, when you were talking about I always wanted more. I always wanted more. What, if you could go back and tell your 8-year-old self or your 10-year-old self, no, it's okay. You're okay. You're being fed. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
What, right? No kidding.
It feels overwhelming in that moment, but it's normal.
Right.
Or is it normal?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Man, and it's just the generational shifts, right? Where it was exactly what you said. You will not leave the table until your plate is cleaned. That was never a problem for me. Thank you. Does anyone else need their plate cleaned? I can help you with that. But the way, and now that we're seeing as that generation becomes adults and raising children, maybe that wasn't the right way to do it. Now that is tied to all kinds of eating, overeating, undereating, all of the things. And what will be the next shift of our kids when they're like, my parents didn't make us finish or not finish. And we're just going to keep cycling. And in 20 years, we'll probably be back to, you're not leaving the table until your plate is cleared.
So when you go back to the top 3 things to ask yourself, is this impacting?
So the top 3 things to ask yourself, are these persistent and repeated behaviors impacting my mental health, my financial, or my physical well-being?
And if you can say yes to any of those 3,
then that is considered a behavioral addiction. Is this impacting my mental health, my physical health, or my financial health?
And journal that out.
Yeah.
Like what am I doing? How is this impacting me? And what is my next step going to be in order to help me resolve this?
So this is a good time for everyone to check themselves, do an inventory of your daily habits and start just asking yourself, out of curiosity, are any of these things impacting these 3 areas? Is any of this adding stress to my plate instead of bringing joy? And I'm not talking about a dopamine dump. I'm talking about, is this bringing real joy to my life, or is this hindering me in some way?
I love that.
Who doesn't love a good dopamine dump?
I love Downy. I'm gonna swing
fabric softener
I'm gonna
addiction.
swing by the store on the way home and pick me up that good.
Just open it up and give it a big sniff. You're so calm now.
Tell me when you jump into a bed after it's just been freshly washed. The
it's
way
so
your
nice.
Pillows just smell so good.
It's so nice.
I'm addicted to that.
I'm still gonna do laundry if I don't have fabric softener.
I'm not.
Okay.
It will sit there.
Well,
I'll let my husband do it because then I know better.
There you go. Okay. Well, this was so fun.
Yes, it was, as always.
I think we covered, all the bases here.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So we've got some fun guests coming up the rest of the month, and we'll be putting all this out on social media. But we're gonna be talking about a lot of good stuff as always.
As always. So speaking of, do you want to know what's happening on the next episode of Backseat Thriver? Well, find us on Instagram.
It's because we don't know, right? You can't say it because we have no idea.
No, I'm not going to say it. They're going to have to follow our Backseat Thriver Instagram page at backseat.thriver. And if you want to listen to this episode, any of our past episodes, learn a little bit more about Christina and I, or ask us any questions, go to our website at backseatthriver.com. And as always, you can find us where, Christina?
At LTD Media. We're on, I get a lot of people that are asking me, okay, I see your Instagram page, but how do I listen to your show? All you have to do is go wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, just type in Backseat Thriver.
YouTube.
We pop up on all of those. Mm-hmm. So you can listen to us on your favorite streaming platform.
Yes. And until next Friday, keep thriving, besties. Did you like that?
I loved it. I wasn't sure what you were going to say. I was on the edge of my seat.
Surprised
Until
you
then,
too.
...
See you next Friday, besties.
Thanks, guys.